Hello and welcome back to the channel. Now, the relationship between the Igbo race and the Nigerian nation has always been a complex relationship. Always has been. The Civil War and all that, you know the history, so I'm not going to bore you with that history. So that relationship has always been complex. The relationship also between the Igbo race and the other nations that make up the Nigerian entity has always been complex. The relationship between the Igbos and the Northerners has always been complex, and the relationship between the Igbos and the Yorubas has always been complex. But in this video, I am going to be talking about the relationship between the Igbo race and Lagos State in particular. So it's the relationship between the Igbo race and Lagos State. So now the relationship between the Igbo race and Lagos State is a microcosm of the relationship between the Igbo race and Nigeria, because Lagos State is a microcosm of the Nigerian state, because Lagos State is a convergence of all of Nigeria. Everybody in Nigeria is in Lagos State. All of the components of Nigeria is in Lagos State, including the Igbo people. But Lagos State, of course, is a Yoruba state. Now, Lagos State, as I said, is a Yoruba state, but really the Igbos are contending differently, because they are saying that Lagos State, as I've described, is a confluence of all of the nations of Nigeria, which then makes it a non-indigenous state. So there are no indigenous people of Lagos State. In other words, Lagos State is a no man's land. So that is an Igbo argument. Now, that is not the argument of the generality of the Igbo race, but that is an argument that a strong element of the Igbo race are putting forward to contend Lagos State. So they're saying Lagos State is a no man's land and it belongs to everybody, including them. So now, and that is an argument, that's a fair comment, because Nigeria really, if we're going to carry on the pretensions that we are one country, then every angle, every single inch of that country should belong to everyone, and you should feel at home wherever you are, so long as you're Nigerian and you're within the firmament of that country. So that's one argument. But now the contention really is there's a power tussle now between the Yorubas, who are the indigenous people of Lagos State, because it's an Awori type state. So the indigenous people, the Yorubas, they are the original settlers of that land. So there's now that contention between the indigenous people, the Yorubas, and the Igbos, who have been long-term settlers in Lagos. So the Igbos have been in Lagos for so long that they might well be indigenous as well. They speak Yoruba, they are married into the culture, into the people, etc. There's intermarrying and all that. They are effectively Yorubas, but they're still Igbos, of course, if you get the drift of what I'm saying. So that is the background to the story. So there's now this power tussle, and this power tussle has been bubbling for quite a while, but it came to the fore round about 2015 when Ambode was running to become a Lagos State governor. Then the Oba of Lagos was so miffed by the antics of the Igbos who were agitating for a different candidate that he made the pronouncement that if Ambode doesn't win, the Igbos will be thrown into the sea, that the Igbos will be chased out of Lagos. In fact, they will not even be chased out of Lagos, they'll be thrown into the sea. So this was what the Oba of Lagos said then, and there was a lot of brouhaha around that. There was a lot of outcry, there was a lot of outrage, there was a lot of clapback, a lot of backlash to that comment, and rightly so, because the Oba of Lagos really should be above politics and should be all-encompassing, and he should see everybody that lives within his domain as his subject. So he should be all-inclusive. But he made that pronouncement, and there was that backlash, clash, and that is really the beginnings of that real tussle that is now going on now. So now we had that then, and Ambode won, and everything settled back, and it all calmed down. So now fast forward to 2019, and this thing has reared its head again. So again, the Igbos are contending for more political presence within the Lagos State space, and Lagos State of course is pushing back, and at the forefront of that pushback this time round is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So now the elections this time round, you know, it was fiercely contested, and every vote and every inch counted, and there was a call out to the Igbos to support the APC, but the Igbos of course are always article bent, because Igbo people, they dislike fervently Buhari. I mean, there's one thing that the Igbos are united on, is a dislike of Buhari. So anything that is not Buhari is what they're for. So of course they're not going to go with APC, because they're not going to go with Buhari. So now Tinubu made that call for the Igbo people to converge to his calling, but the Igbo people pushed back. And then of course Tinubu, being somebody that is very loose with his mouth, has been going out making all these pronouncements about Igbos, the Okoros as he likes to call them.
Ó dẹ̀ wá tún bá fìlà àwọn ọmọ ìyá wa, àwọn Okoro, Igbo kwenu, Igbo kwenu, Igbo kwenu,
saying all these Okoro people is going to deal with them. I'm going to find a clip of some of his comments and put it in here, and I'll find a clip because his wife also is backing him up in those comments. I'll find a clip of her making her pronouncements and put it in here as well.
You vote for Buhari. I go no. Igbo, we not the trust in again. My sister born for.
So now the elections have now been and gone, and of course APC has won the day, because of course they are the ruling party, and we all know how these things go in Nigeria. The ruling party always continues to rule. So they won Lagos State because that is Tinubu's state, and nobody is going to take that away from him. And of course they won the presidency as well, because Buhari is the president and he has no intentions of giving up his seat, so he won that as well. So they've taken the presidency, they've taken Lagos State, so now they're now coming back to this Igbo people issue, which is something that has been rankling with Tinubu for a good while now. So now Tinubu is now setting his focus, I think, and this is my personal opinion now, this is just me speculating, and this is just like a sharing of thoughts. So these are just my thoughts, and because I've not had a conversation with Tinubu, so I don't have his number, he doesn't have mine, I don't know him, he doesn't know me. So this is just me speculating based on just the information out there and my reading of the information out there. So this is just purely speculative. So now what I think is playing out now is Tinubu now turning round to now say, okay, these Igbo people, they've been at it for too long now, it's now time to put them in their place effectively, which is effectively what he is trying to do. So the opening salvo of this putting them in their place has now been fired, and that opening salvo is the withdrawal of shop concessions in the trade fair complex. So the trade fair complex is a shopping complex within Lagos and is a prime complex. It's premium complex. It is where a lot of money is made, and there's a lot of Igbo presence there, because as we know, Igbo people are traditionally traders. They trade, they buy and sell. Buying and selling really is the core of the Igbo business instinct. That is what they do. This is what they're known for. Igbos are known as traders, buying and selling really being that trade. Of course, they are intellectuals as well. They are lawyers, doctors, accountants, etc. But traditionally, within the Nigerian firmament, the Igbo people are known as traders. The cliche about the Igbo man is a spare parts dealer. So that is what they are known for. They open shops and then bring their relatives one by one, and they establish them in trade, and this is their own template, this is their formula. And that trade fair complex is where the premium prime site is for trade in Lagos, rather, not in Nigeria, but in Lagos, perhaps in Nigeria too, actually, because Lagos, of course, is the commercial center, is the commercial capital of Nigeria, Abuja being the government capital, but Lagos being the commercial hub of Nigeria, and that trade fair complex being the heart of the trade activities in Lagos. So now, the concessions that were made to allow these Igbo people to trade, their shops they were given to them, or they got, that were conceded to them, is now being withdrawn. And this is now being withdrawn immediately after the elections have taken place. So there's a direct correlation now between their positioning during the elections and now this withdrawal of concession after the election. So you can see the direct link between the two activities. So Tinubu made the rallying call for them to come out and support him and his party. The Igbos rejected it because, of course, they detest Buhari and they don't want to be told what to do anyway, because Igbos traditionally are very proud people. So they rejected it, of course. So now Tinubu then waited in store for them. Now, after the election, these concessions are now being withdrawn, which is a direct punishment for that position that they took regarding the election. So now this is the opening salvo now of the latest round of that battle for Lagos, which the Igbos have described as a no man's land, but which the Yorubas have made clear to them that this is our land and we've always owned this land and we will always own this land. And Tinubu now is at the forefront of that charge to assert that Yoruba dominion over Lagos State, because Yoruba, of course, owns Lagos State. The Yoruba race owns Lagos State. Everybody knows this, including the Igbos. The Igbos know this as well. But because Lagos is so important and because Lagos is really where the money is, they are really fighting and striving for a space to carve an independent space within that structure so that they are able to at will do as they want without having to kowtow to anyone, which is a fair enough thing from their point of view. But now this is now where the play is now. The Igbos rejected Tinubu's call during the elections. Tinubu is now out to punish them, and the first move to punish them is the withdrawal of these concessions. So now that round of battle has now been kicked off now. So how that now plays out is now what we're going to have to see over the course of time. So what entreaties are the Igbos going to sent to Tinubu to appease him, and what promises is he going to extract out of him for him to peter down? Or is he going to peter down at all, or is he going to just try and chase them out of Lagos and then obviously put other people in? Because obviously all of the spaces in Lagos are in high demand, and if he moves the Igbos out, immediately a new set of people will come in. The Yorubas will fill the spot, the Hausas will fill the spot, the Chinese will fill the spot, the Indians will fill the spot. There are lots of people that are ready to fill that spot, especially in that prime location of trade activity. So this is where the battle line is now between the Igbos and the Yorubas for Lagos State, and this is a battle that rages on and on. This is an ongoing battle, by the way. This is a battle that's been going on since the 1960s, since the Biafra days, because the Igbos have never forgiven the Yorubas for what they perceive as a betrayal for Biafra during Biafra, and the Yorubas, of course, have never really felt that the Igbos understood what the Nigerian project is all about, because the Yoruba's understanding of what Nigeria is uniquely peculiar to the Yoruba race, because Yorubas, they see Nigeria as this opportunity to evolve something robust, but all the other elements within Nigeria, the Hausas, they just see it as, oh, this is easy money to take oil money from these people. The Igbos are just saying, "Oh, we want an independent nation," and the Yorubas are saying, "Look, if we come together and make this Nigeria thing work, we have a real opportunity to have a global impact with this structure that we have called Nigeria." So this is the story, and within that greater plot, there's this subplot of this battle between the Igbos and the Yorubas, and that battle has been something that's been simmering for decades and decades, and every so often it comes to the boil, and it's now coming up to the boil again now with this latest skirmish between Tinubu, Lagos State, and the Igbo race. So this is where we are now in this battle line. How does this plan out? How does this play out? What is the end result, and what is your opinion? So where do you see it on the Lagos State no man's land Igbo Yoruba divide? What are your opinions? Let's share opinions on ethnicity in Nigeria in the comment section. But before we go share that opinion on ethnicity in Nigeria in the comment section, click on the red subscribe button so it goes gray. Click on the bell button as well so you are notified as soon as I drop a video. As soon as you've done that, come join me in the comment section where we can tackle this very important subject. So I'll leave you here and carry on this conversation with you in the comment section, and I'll say peace.